Welcome back, guys. In this video series we're going to look at the basic Revit floor plan and how we can turn that into a advanced floor plan. So let's start with a new project, and I'm going to set none for my template metric. Now the floor plan that we're going to do is based on the Gambia house build tour that I did on my channel, so make sure you check that out. I'll leave the video in the description below. So the first thing I'm going to do is select my wall architectural, and then I'm going to draw a basic outline for the walls. So let's call that 7 meters by 14.5 meters. So this is the basic outline for my floor plan. Let's also modify these walls so that they are clearly distinct from interior to exterior. So I'm just going to duplicate the wall, and I'm going to call this exterior, and let's call it 200 thick. These are architectural walls for the minute, so I'm just going to leave that at 200 and leave it as by category. What I'm also going to do is change the coarse scale fill pattern to solid fill and click OK to that. The next thing I'm going to do is go back into the walls and create a interior wall type. So I'm going to edit type, I'm going to duplicate this wall, and I'm going to call this one interior. Let's call that one 180 thick. Now in the Gambia they do use solid masonry for their typical wall assemblies. So I'm going to call that 180 thick, which includes the interior plastered finishes, and then hit OK. So let's get back into the details for this floor plan. So go back into walls. I'm going to finish off the exterior walls by creating the porch in this corner. So I'm going to go up by 2 meters here, and then I'm going to bring this out by 3 meters and then bring that back in. And then I'm going to use the modify and trim command, and then I'm going to trim these walls in place here. And then I'm going to go back to my walls, and this time I'm going to choose the interior wall, and then let's work on some of these interior faces. I'm going to change my finish face to exterior. Then I'm just going to run this wall up a little bit. And then I'm going to do my return wall, so I'm going to change that back to center line. And then let's call that 3 meters to the center. So draw that one in place. And then we can trim the edges of those 2 walls. If I go back to the interior walls, let's form that little niche that goes in approximately 1 meter. And then we have our shower room, which is about 1.6, and the water closet, which is also 1.6, so that makes 3.2. I'll bring that back in place here. And then what I'm going to do is bring this one back out to meet that wall. And then I'm going to create similar and run another wall from that point all the way through to the back wall there. And then make sure that they are aligned by using the align tool. Let's go back into our walls, make sure it's on the interior, and the next thing we're going to do is form this hallway which goes in between. So I'm just going to run that down and across. So the next thing I'm going to do is create the hallway distance. So I'm going to select that wall that I want to move. Then I'm going to make sure I tab and select the faces of these walls with this temporary dimension. So I have 820 there, and I'm going to change that to 1 meter. So that gives me my hallway separation. I'm also going to double check what dimensions we have for these walls to give a door that goes in. So we only have a distance of 830 in that location. So I'm just going to make a adjustment here. So I'm going to select these walls. I only have 830, so I'm going to move that out by 170. And then when I double check that, I have 1,000 or 1 meter, and then that would follow through on the other side. So back into my walls, and I'm going to return this one here. Then I'm also going to do the same distance check again. So I select that wall that I want to move. I'm going to align it with this one, and then align it with the face, and then I'm going to call that 1,000 as well, or 1 meter. And then I can go back into modify and trim those together. The next thing I'm going to do is select a wall and use the copy function. And then I'm going to copy that down to get the depth of this room. So let's call that 3 meters. So I'm going to make an adjustment here for the hallway. I'm going to select that wall there and then make sure that these temporary dimensions are on the face again. And then I'm going to just use the arrow keys to nudge that down so it's about 3 meters. And then I'm going to move it to be a bit more accurate. So then we have 3 meters there. And then I'm going to adjust this outer wall again. So at the minute we have 2.5 meters. I'm going to move that temporary dimension and then I'm going to round that up to 3 meters again. So we have somewhat of a floor plan here. I'm just going to push this wall through to the exterior side. Next I'm going to add my separation. So I'm going to select create similar. And then I'm just going to select the midpoint of that wall and then run that through. And then I'm going to just double check all of my rooms make sense dimensionally. So I'm going to make sure that they are all 3 meters by 3 meters each on the interior clearance side of the walls. So I'm just going to do that now. So once I'm happy with that layout, I'm going to now put some doors in place. So I'll go to the architecture tab and select doors, and let's load one of the door families in. If I go to my library and then I'll go into the doors folder, let's add the external door first. So you can preview the doors and let's go with this one, which is external door 11. Place that in place, and then I'm going to go back to my doors and then load another family and go up to the internal doors folder and internal door 6. Let's add that one in place. So I'm going to snap my doors in place here. Next thing I'm going to do is make sure that there's enough clearance at the side of these doors. Okay, now I have some doors in place. Let's do the same for windows. So I'll go to load a new window family, go up in my folder hierarchy, scroll down to windows, and then I can select one of the windows and then hit open. I'm going to edit the type so that I resize these, and then I can duplicate, and then I can type in my window sizing. So this one I want to be 1200 by 1000 millimeters. So width 1200, height 1000, and then hit OK. Then I'm going to place some of these windows in place. For the windows in the washrooms, I'm going to edit my type and duplicate it again to the washroom size, which is about 600 by 600. So for all the windows, I'm going to ensure that the head height is the same. So let's call that 2200. And then I'm going to do the exact same for all of my windows by selecting them all. And then changing the head height to 2200. And that's the end of the video. Stay tuned for other parts to this basic to advanced floor plan mini series, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more regularly released Revit content. I'll see you in the next one.